Hi there, my name is Derek, and welcome to GamerBody. In this video, I'm gonna cover 5 rules I use for my home fitness training in order to get the best results over a long period of time. No, I'm not gonna talk about how to get abs in the next 30 days or something like that. It's going to take you a lot longer depending on your starting body and how much experience you have. Maybe you're brand new, maybe you're like 10 years. I'm just gonna show you what I focus on in the big picture in order to do this for years and years to get the results you are looking for. In order for me to attain just the amount of muscle I want to really have on my frame, it took me a good 2 solid years of heavy lifting in order to get there with crazy consistency. But with that said, let's take a look at the 5 rules that I follow in order to work out from home and get the body I'm looking to develop. Now, starting with rule number 5, we have rest and recover to save your progress. Now, the best way to rest and recover is actually to get sleep. Now, this is one of the main things I actually don't do very well on, as I average around 6, maybe 5 to 6 hours per night, where I really should be getting around 7 to 8, but I do game late into the night, work on videos a lot after work, so this is one of the ones I've been personally working on in order to get in the best shape I can. Don't neglect this one. If this is one that you are having trouble with, get some kind of tracker or whatever. Again, I have the Fitbit Charge 4 here that does track sleep. There's also these rings you can wear. There's tons of different devices that can help you track your sleep, phone apps, whatever it might be. Use it to help you gauge where you currently are with your sleeping, because again, that is where you're going to be building and burning off body fat while sleeping in order to achieve the results you want. Now, also, don't forget to take rest days. I have some built in. I kind of do weekends as my main rest. I do total body 3 days a week with usually 2 cardios in there, so I have maybe 5 days of training in a row. But then I almost always take the weekends off. It's very rare I put a training session in there unless I missed it during the week. And even a lot of time when I miss it, I still do my weekend rest days just to help my body repair itself before the next week where I get in my lifting. Remember, while you're training, you're actually breaking down your body. It's during rest where you're focusing on rebuilding and getting stronger from the workout that you did the day before. With that said, let's take a look at rule number 4, which is to focus on progressive overload, or really just getting better over time. Now, there's many ways you can do progressive overload, whether it be increasing time under tension, reducing rest times, putting on more weight, which is one of the easier versions, doing harder versions of an exercise. Whatever it might be, focus on improving that skill or adding more weight to that lift in order to get stronger over time. No, you do not need to make large jumps in how much you're lifting. For me, it's usually in 5-pound increments, but what I like to do is the following for my current training. For my main lifts, which is usually the first 3 lifts I do in a training session, I tend to focus on using the lower range. So we'll take the bench press, for example. If I'm doing bench press starting off maybe brand new, what I do is pick a weight where I could only do maybe about 5 reps. Now, over time, I want to take those 5 reps and increase volume by doing 1 more rep each time I do a new workout with bench press in it. Over time, I'd work up to maybe like 10 reps, and once I can do all the sets at 10 reps, so say we're doing 5 sets total, once I can do 10 reps for every set with that weight, I move up the weight again to where I can only do 5 reps again and kind of repeat the process. By doing it in this method, you can do a specific exercise for a long period of time because again, you are using progressive overload to get bigger and stronger. Yes, you will probably eventually max this out. Now for me, I only have 50-pound dumbbells at home, so I can actually do this maxed out right now. So for me, I either need to figure out a harder exercise or a different way to do it in order to continue progressing. Maybe I do more time under tension, take less rest periods, whatever it might be. I need to focus on something to continue progressing to get my chest bigger and stronger. For me personally, I actually kind of like where I am right now. So if that's the case, maybe I just kind of stick around where I am until I feel like I need to get bigger again. But just know, progressive overload over a long period of time is what's going to get you the results, not quick fixes. Too many people are trying to just get it all done within a 12-week period. And if you're just starting, that is way too fast. Yes, even a newbie can put on quite a bit of muscle really fast, but not as fast as you might think. That is why you should be taking the long-term approach, build out a plan that gets you the results over time, change things up as needed to make it fun for you or whatever your main goal is, and then go in that direction. Now, this doesn't even have to be weightlifting per se. It could be something like even running or biking, whatever you want to be. Now for me, I like to focus on this channel on being home-based style exercises. So again, I'm using dumbbells for my training to again progress, where my core fitness dumbbells do go up and down by 5 pounds with just turning the handle. So that makes progression with something like a bench press really easy until I max out the entire weight stack that I have. So remember, use progressive overload with a focus on you getting better each and every workout over time and continually focusing on doing something to improve your current training plan with your exercises. This will be key in you building as much muscle as possible while also focusing on the other rules to again get there, but this is what will tell your body that it needs to get bigger and stronger over your workout journey or campaign or whatever you might want to call it. Now for rule number 3, I have you focusing on the compound major lifts to get the best results again for a long period of time. You should have 3 major exercises for your compound lifts, and these would be a push, pull, and leg exercise. The 3 that I like to focus on the most are the bench press, deadlift, and squats. These 3 exercises have stood the test of time and for good reason. They put a lot of muscle mass on your body if you're doing them correctly, and then again focusing on giving yourself the proper nutrition, rest and recovery, all of those things come into play. But these 3 exercises will build your body the best out of any other exercises I can recommend to you. Of course, there are many other exercises out there that can help enhance the body, but in terms of overall body composition, these 3, in my opinion, take the cake as being the best. And while using progressive overload and getting stronger in these exercises, you will find that your body changes much faster than if you try and do all these other weird 10-minute cardio-based home exercises or jumping around or plyometrics or whatever it might be. Just doing these 3 exercises can actually build you a very good body, just doing them, again, for a long period of time and using progressive overload. I can't tell you how many times I've had to steer people away from using all these other gimmicky exercises. Yes, there are other good compound lifts which I can recommend, such as something like pull-ups you could do. You can even do push-ups. All those things are kind of like you can switch between those. But for me, it has to be those main 3, and that's why I like dumbbells for my home training, because it allows me to do those main 3 lifts very easily. Now, when starting out, you're going to start with a smaller weight and work up over time. Don't let ego take over here, because you could easily get injured doing these exercises if you don't do them properly or you're trying to ego lift too much weight. I would say this is especially apparent with the deadlifts. A lot of people, including myself, hurt their back, and I do have something of an anterior pelvic tilt not helping me, so I have to focus on that doing these lifts each time. But just note, start off small and work up over time using the progression I talked about earlier in order to do it, or some other type of progression that you come up with in order to stay safe, because that will ultimately be what keeps you working out for the long term. Those who get injured drop out pretty quickly, and that usually ends their fitness career right when it gets started, so don't be one of those people. Now, coming in with rule number 2, I want you to focus on food being used for energy and the minerals that you need to survive. Now, energy will come in the form of calories, and calories in and out is what will determine weight loss, as well as your ability to actually pack on muscle. Minerals are what you need in order to survive, because there are essential minerals that your body will actually need from food so that you don't die or get other types of diseases. Too many people want to be cutting out food all the time, and I find this to be one of the worst ways to actually build muscle. Intermittent fasting is huge right now, and all of these things I'm fasting for multiple days, and while it might help with all these autophagy things and whatnot, I honestly have to say, if you want to build a really good body, you need to change your mindset around food. It's not really building a relationship with food, it's using it in the way it was meant to be in order for survival, giving you energy and again minerals for your body to function and to live. This may take some time to actually grasp, but if you just think about it, why do you actually need food? You need it so that you have energy throughout your day. If you eat too much, your body actually stores that as energy for later on. So make sure, again, that you are eating properly. This will become a big part of your recovery. And I do recommend that you get enough protein in. Personally, for me, I aim for the standard of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. But just know, if you're doing something like intermittent fasting, I have found it very hard for me to do that type of diet and get in the minimum of 150 grams of protein, where I actually weigh about 185. So I aim for 185 grams of protein for myself. But getting that is very hard. On the low end, which would be about 0.7 grams per pound of body weight to 0.8, I think about 150 is about as low as I want to go at my current weight and size. But even that, if I skip a breakfast or something like that, it's very hard for me to get all that protein in because it's very satiating eating that type of food. So just know, I do eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and even have snacks in there. I don't do like 6 meals a day. I usually do 3 main meals with maybe a snack, like a mid snack and a evening snack. Kind of like, I feel like a hobbit with like first and second dinners and suppers or whatever. But anyway, just so you know, it is very hard for me to get in that much protein if I'm skipping meals. So make sure that you're figuring out a plan that works for you. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing, but just make sure that you're getting in especially protein to help rebuild your body. Don't go crazy with it. Don't really go more than a gram per pound of body weight, as that's kind of been like the try and true or simple version of this. But just know that is what I'm doing in order to get enough protein in each day. And I really don't care about the fat and carbs kind of back and forth. I eat a lot of carbs, so for me, again, I'm not really lowering my carb amount at all. I just kind of eat what I want in terms of that. Protein is where I focus on everything and then kind of make it my meals around how much protein I'm taking in at that meal. And yes, I am taking a supplement only because I need it or I'm not getting enough protein. So I do take a protein powder in order to help with my recovery. I don't do things like BCAAs. I don't think it's worth it. I really just focus on protein. The only other supplement I'd even recommend would be creatine because it has so many backed up studies that can help you. And I have taken it in the past, but really just get your protein goal in each day and then build your meals around that. So what he does is he breaks down his plate into 3 separate parts where half of it is some kind of green, leafy, carby vegetable, where then you have a starchy carb, which makes up 25%, and your protein makes up the other 25%. This is just an easy template to follow. I don't follow this every single time, but I do try and hit that target when I'm making a meal or thinking of a meal, just because it's an easy way to kind of piece it together. So usually I have something green for the fibrous carb, then I have a starchy carb, which is like rice or potatoes or something, and then I also have a protein like salmon, chicken, steak, whatever that might be as my other quarter. Now I did spend a lot of time on the nutrition piece, because I just want to get through your head that it is being used for energy in your lifts as well as your everyday life. And again, those other minerals that you need from eating are going to be in there as well, and you don't want to be skipping those. So if you find that you're mineral deficient in something, you may have to take another supplement in order to help you get that mineral deficiency gone. That's the only time I recommend ever taking other supplements outside of protein. But just so you know, you want to make sure that you're getting in the proper eating habits, because that's what's really going to determine your end results, especially when it comes to building muscle and cutting calories in order to burn body fat once you've built the muscle on your frame. To end with this section, no, I do not do big bulks and cuts. I do this small amounts at a time, so I kind of eat throughout the day. I usually, again, don't eat more than that much in my maintenance, so I kind of stick around my maintenance target where I eat about 2,800 calories a day. And I do not track every day either. I kind of just have over time been able to tell how much I've eaten. Now, when I go off track, when I find that I'm actually putting on weight really quickly or I'm losing really quickly, then I will actually track for a day or two and seeing what I'm eating. A lot of packages have scanner codes. You have MyFitnessPal now. I actually use the Fitbit app when I am tracking. I don't, again, track all the time. I'm not tracking when I go to restaurants or anything like that. You might need to, I don't know. But for me, I'm just talking about my experience. I only track once I see myself going up really quickly in weight or dropping way too fast, because I know that's going to lead me down a spiraling kind of issue where it could be hard for me to figure out what I need to be doing in order to get back on track. So catch things early and optimize it so that you're doing small improvements. Maybe you need to be eating a little bit more or a little bit less, but don't go crazy in either extreme like all these other diets and YouTube videos want you to try and do, because it's just not really going to work for you in the long run. All right, and that leads us to rule number 1. And without this rule, you will not see results because you're going to give up way before you should. And that is consistency is king when it comes to getting your results and keeping them long term. Now, my fitness journey began about 8 or 9 years ago, and it was in a gym that I was in for about 2 years. I think I actually had about 3 years in a gym, and then I've had the last 5 or 6 years working out from home. It did start in a gym where I put on a lot of muscle, but I made a ton of mistakes back then. But just thinking, if I hadn't been consistent and got to where I am now, I probably would never have achieved the body I'm kind of happy with today. Now, there's always improvements. My big one right now is focusing on getting better ranges of motion and mobility, because I do have things still where I have a little bit of forward rounded shoulder, as well as that anterior pelvic tilt I talked about before. So especially the anterior pelvic tilt, because I sit all day, play video games. I do work from actually 8 to 5, so I am sitting down here all day. I'm actually at a standing desk, so I try and put it up every hour and a half or so. Sometimes I forget, I just sit the entire day. But just know I do that, then I'm working on videos, play tons of games late into the night. So you need to find a time where you can work out and be most consistent with your training. For me, that is a small office. I normally work out early in the morning because I know after work, I just don't want to do it. For you, that might not be in the morning. It might be midday. It might be at night. I don't know what your work schedule is. So it's really up to you to decide what is the best time you can fit in your workout in order to stay consistent and get in the work, because once you kind of do it, you feel good that you did it that day. You'll also probably release endorphins, and if you're training correctly, over time you're going to see the results no matter what you're doing, and as well as you're using the rules I talked about before with progressive overload, proper nutrition and eating, and all of that good stuff. So again, consistency and showing up for each of your workouts is going to be the determining factor on what you get over time. And I've been doing this for, again, about 8 years, maybe a little longer, and I've really achieved a lot. I got a lot of results in the first 2 years, don't get me wrong, but I made a lot of mistakes where I wasn't focusing on the rest of my body, and I had a lot of imbalances in terms of what I was lifting and whatnot. I did get really big, but that wasn't, like, getting big was the goal, but I want to also feel great, move well, and all those things, which I neglected, and now I'm using, or looking at now to improve and get better after doing it for such a long period of time. And that's it on my 5 rules. This was a longer video, kind of just talking to you about what my 5 rules are. I'm going to make more videos like this on just key takeaways I've had over the years, especially working out from home and not a gym. So again, I had those like 2 to 3 years in a gym. There's tons of other channels that can give you the same exact advice, and a lot of that carries over into my home training, but I want to give you more experiences of what I think working out at home so that I can show you what life is like doing that. A lot of you are actually at home now with the current virus going around, trying to learn all this, trying to go through other videos online, and maybe you're getting those 10-minute ab workouts or whatever. I'm telling you, most of those are going to be garbage. You're not going to do them long term, and consistency with progressive overload and proper training with compound lifts, it's what's going to build you the best body you can possibly achieve in the long run. So that about rounds it up for this video. I hope you did like it. And please leave comments below on videos you might be interested in me creating for home training. I want to make a video each week or so, kind of going over these topics where I just talk to the camera, not really have any overlays or anything like that going on, but just provide real information for you to digest and use for your home fitness journey. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this one. Also, make sure you head over to GamerBody.com. There you can check out my current training program, all the equipment I'm currently using, which I do update from time to time on the site, and the resources I'm reviewing and reading in order to continue building muscle and building confidence, all from the comfort of home. And that is it for this video. So again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Be fit and game on.